Well, are you a believer in the Atlanta Falcons? It's as simple as that. When you look at this weekend's game, Atlanta at New Orleans, Atlanta's installed as a 1-point favorite right now on BETDAQ. Total has not yet been released at the time of this recording. If you're a believer in the Falcons, this looks like one of the best bets of the week. An 8-0 team facing a 3-5 team, only a 1-point favorite. I mean, it has to feel like Christmas. 2 weeks ago, the Atlanta Falcons were underdogs against the Philadelphia Eagles, a losing team. Falcons won that game easily. Last week, Atlanta was a short home favorite against the Dallas Cowboys, another losing team. Atlanta won and covered there. And so here they are again this week, facing a 3-5 team with the worst defense in the NFL, only a 1-point favorite once again. So like I said, if you're an Atlanta Falcons believer, you have to feel like this is easy money. What is wrong with odds makers over the last few weeks? How do they not see what I see? And so far you've been right, and we'll see if you're right again this weekend. If you're a non-believer in the Falcons, not necessarily a non-believer, but if you think they're going to lose any time now and sort of due to lose, and they've been skating by in some recent games, then you're probably on New Orleans this week, because situationally, the Saints look like they could be a nice play in this game. Listen, over the last year and a half, there has been no better bet in the NFL than the New Orleans Saints at home. The Saints are 14-3 against the spread in their last 17 games in the Superdome. That is absolutely remarkable, especially when you consider they've been favored in nearly every one of those games. So, really tough to go against the Saints at home. By now, we've all seen it. Drew Brees and this offense on that fast track, almost unstoppable. Brees this year, the height of his powers, passing for 305 yards per game. That's second in the NFL. And the Falcons, just like most every other team, have not had any success recently in the Superdome. Falcons have lost 5 out of their last 6 games in New Orleans, including last year, Week 15, they were beat 45-16. So a lot of the same personnel on both of these teams. Now, we know New Orleans has not been near as good this year as they were last year, so it's a little bit misleading to say, well, just a few games ago, Week 15 of last year, 45-16, because it is a new season, and New Orleans has been worse this season on the defensive side of the ball anyway. As a matter of fact, they've been much worse on defense. The Saints are allowing 470 yards per game right now. That is far and away worse in the league. That's about 50 yards more per game than any other defense in the NFL. So if you're backing the Saints here, you might just want to cover your eyes when the Falcons have the ball, because I don't know how the New Orleans defense is even going to slow down Matt Ryan and this Atlanta offense. Ryan is playing at an elite level right now. The wide receivers he has, Julio Jones, Roddy White, that's as good a tandem as there is in the NFL. Tight end Tony Gonzalez still getting it done. They're a balanced offense. They can run the ball with Michael Turner. They are going to go right through this New Orleans Saints defense. There's no question about it. The only question is, are they going to be able to outscore that New Orleans offense? Almost no team has been able to outscore the Saints here over the last year and a half, as we laid out. And hey, as hard as it is to see the Saints defense slowing down the Atlanta offense, it's almost equally hard to see that Atlanta defense presenting much of a problem for this New Orleans offense in the Superdome. So I expect a high-scoring back-and-forth game here. Really interested to see what the total is going to be on BETDAQ, and also interested to see what kind of prop markets are going to be offered for this game on BETDAQ, because I do believe this is a Sky TV game, so there should be 10 to 12 different markets being offered. And this might be a game where some player props, especially offensive players, I'm thinking going over on a few select offensive players' yardage totals, because I expect to see so much yardage here, especially passing yards, that the player props might be a good market to look in this game. It is a tough call. I've gone back and forth this game already a couple of times this week. I began the week with an Atlanta lean. I thought, the Falcons are just not getting enough respect. They're just better than New Orleans. New Orleans is not going to be able to slow down this Atlanta offense. But then, I sort of flip-flopped. I mean, New Orleans has been such a good team to back at home. The Falcons, they do feel like they're kind of due to lose. They've had no success on the road in New Orleans. The Saints offense is going to just go up and down the field on the Falcons. So I was leaning towards New Orleans at that point. Now I'm sort of back over on the Atlanta side, but talk to me tomorrow. I might tell you something different. But this should be a very entertaining, exciting game. I'm looking forward to watching it. Two high-flying offenses. Can the Saints defense slow down the Falcons at all? If they can, the home team might be able to win this game. If not, look for the Falcons to go 9-0.